honest with you, I thought it was just weed. I would have never known that it was a pill. Donald played football. He went to Putnam City North. It started, let's see, he went to Hefner Middle School. He played football there. He went to Putnam City North. He played football all through all 4 years at Putnam City North. He was a smart kid. He was on the honor society at the school. He went to college. He went to Langston University. He went there for 2 years. He was going for physical therapy. He also went to Francis Tuttle for CMA. So schooling, everyone knew Donald as a hard worker. Football coaches loved him. Friends loved him. He was easy to talk to. He was always smiling. A lot of people just remembered him by his smile, which was so funny because when he was younger, I can remember going into Walmart where he would take pictures and he would go, and we was like, okay, Donald, you need to smile. And the photographer, she started laughing. She was like, did you hear what he said? And we was like, no, what did he say? He said it hurts to smile. So he took a picture like he was like trying to force this smile out of him. But as he got older, that is the main thing people remembered about him was his smile. His smile would light up a room. His smile would warm you, just welcoming. The main thing that I kind of remember about Donald, I love Donald when he would say, hi, Mom, because it would just be a, hi, Mom, and then he'd do something silly. He'd do a silly dance or something, and then, of course, I'd sing to him, that's my baby, that's my, I'd do little stuff like that, and then he'd do a little dance and stuff like that, and he was just so full of energy. He was so full of life, and he loved his family. He loved his friends. Anybody he come in contact with instantly, it's like that's family to him. He'd see somebody or he, be talking to you. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. He was just embracing. Donald was my third born. Donald was energetic. He had like that positive vibe. Donald was loving. He was motivating. He was encourager. He was someone that could just, walk into a room, his smile, just light up a room. He's someone you kind of felt safe around. And I say that because so many of his friends have told me that they felt safe around him.
He was my protector. He was I like to call him like my personal entertainment. He definitely knew how to brighten up a space, and he could read energy. Like it was very uncanny how he could read someone's energy and know exactly what to do. And that definitely I wasn't exempt from that. So we were definitely very close. Still are. I feel it. Still feel him.
Donald was always happy. He loved life. He lived life to the absolute fullest. He was unapologetic on things that he would say. He would say things out of love. He would push you. He would motivate you. This shirt that I wear, on the back of it was the last card that Donald had given me. And one of the things that I live by is that moving forward after his death was where he said, Mom, go hard. Don't be afraid to try new things. And so I thought that was something he just only told me. But after talking with friends, it was like they told him that this is what they remember of him. He helped boost their confidence. He told them to go hard, go strong, keep moving.
He was definitely a very empathetic person, which I believed increased the intensity of his energy. Because if you can match someone's energy, there's no limit to what you could do, how you could affect that person. And I felt as though that he could match anyone's energy in the room, even if it was on maybe a more depressing case and someone was feeling a bit down. He would match their energy, but at the same time, it's like he would always lend his own joy, his happiness, something that lit up his heart. He would offer to someone else. I don't know how you would call it or phrase it. Like I said, just a very spiritual person. And he didn't have to say a word that he was. It's like he radiated that. I don't know how. I'm not going to call it magic or anything, but that was just how he was.
Donald loved hard, so he could light into you lovingly, I guess, by, don't you worry about what other people have to say about you. If he see that, he always stood up for wrongdoing. Like if he seen somebody was doing something wrong to somebody, he'll stand up and he'll tell you, hey, no, that's not, you're not going to do that. He just get overly protective. He don't even have to know you, but he would just get overly protective and he would just, stand up for you. He just loved on you hard, you know.
He experienced a lot of societal pressures, especially when it came to just the idea that you had to take like this one straight path in life. And if you veer off, that could cause some discourse. And I feel like that's what he was experiencing. Just like I said, normal pressure. Some things may have gone wrong here, some things took a left there. But as he got older, it was definitely a behavioral change, at least coming from a sibling perspective that I noticed. Um, but I wouldn't say it was not really anything too concerning because once again, he was a protector. He was strong, strong-willed. And so I always knew that he was just going to bounce back. It wasn't a question. Never questioned it.
Right before he got into going to Langston, was when I noticed that Donald smoked weed or, marijuana or however you call it. I call it weed. I didn't know, it was so many different cuts of this, that, and the other, but, I called it weed. And he would smoke that. And that's what I knew, Donald smoked weed. And as time went on, he left Langston after 2 years. It was like, then you just start noticing, the change. He got bored of school. I'm tired of school. The anxiety kicked in. Within that year of his passing of last year, I noticed Donald he always thought somebody was like out to, it was like somebody was out to get him. Something could happen, and he would think, well, somebody is, that person's doing this on purpose. They're doing it. It was always I don't want to say a blame thing, but it was, you always thought somebody was out to get you. Paranoid. And Donald, the episode, it was about a month before his death. He went to Mercy Hospital. Um, he was walking down 122nd Street. You're just walking down 122nd Street with the blanket over you. And police officer picked him up, took him to Mercy. And I knew this is, information I'm getting from his father because he lived with his father. As the time got closer to his death, he ended up living with his father. And his father told me, hey, I'm headed to the hospital. I'm going to pick up Donald. He's at the hospital. The police officer picked him up. So when the hospital, released him and everything, you asked, what happened? What's wrong? I was just mad. I was so mad. He was mad at someone. I was just mad. Somebody made me so mad. And although I couldn't get the paper from Mercy, according to his father, the paperwork came where they did a drug test and everything. He had no drugs in his system because immediately I was thinking, what are you doing? It's got to be something else, offered Donald to go to counseling. Let's do counseling. Donald knew he needed counseling. He's been before when he was in high school. I've had him in counseling for anxiety and a slight bit of depression. And, I hate as you get older, when they consider you grown, you can't force them to go to counseling because he can go one day and then decide it ain't for him and they're like, cool. But the thing with Donald is Donald knew he needed to go back to counseling. He even told me, Mom, okay. And being his mother, I was like, let me know. I'll go with you. But you have to do this. Yeah, Mom, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And that didn't happen. I noticed Donald would be sleeping a lot. Donald gained some weight. Donald would be gone at certain times of the night. Like I would be talking to his father, and I'd be like, "Hey, where's Donald at?" Oh, Donald, Donald's gone to the lake. Donald said he went to the lake, or Donald said he's going to go hang out with friends, and and I noticed that he just started not caring. He would look for the time he was out of work, so he would look for jobs, and he'd get to the point to where he was like, "Well, I don't really care about, I don't care," you know, and just like he just didn't. He was unmotivated.
He definitely was experiencing some type of maybe psychotic episodes, at least what I would describe them as. And that's when I knew in my heart, I was like, ooh, that's not my brother. I don't know what's going on. Definitely something that was out of the ordinary. And it was something that did start to concern me. But once again, being in the position that I was, being the younger sister, I felt like I just had limited power to sort of bring his behavior to light without making it seem like I was trying to be very negative or like I was trying to bring some type of, once again, like negative energy to the situation. But definitely I did notice some very concerning behaviors.
You see, you wanted to be a physical therapist. You're going to school, you're doing, great things, at Langston University. Matter of fact, his first year there, he entered in this this pageant, and he took third place. And it was like you was doing great things. You were pledging, you were doing good things, and it's horrible as a parent to see that your kid's dreams is, you just see it just evaporating there, and it's like there's nothing that I can do. I am your mother. I am supposed to be able to do those things. I'm supposed to be able to help you. I'm supposed to be able to guide, and I'm supposed to be able to fix this. But there's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that the hospitals can do because he's grown. He can make his own decisions, so they say. But it sucks as a parent to see your child just spiraling down. There's nothing you can do.
It's a mix of helplessness, which is a very terrifying feeling, knowing that you're so close to help someone or you're so close to helping someone and to aid them in their trouble of need, but then also understanding that you seem like you have a place in society or even within your family. And you feel like you're so close, but yet you're so far.
I got the call from the medical examiner, and they told me the only thing in Donald's body was fentanyl. And I was like, fentanyl? And they were like, that's the only thing. So unbeknownst to me, I'm like, there wasn't no weed in his body? Because I know that's all he smoked was weed. And she was like, no. And why not? What, y'all sure? And she was like, well, the only thing we can think of is that he probably took a fake pill. He thought he was probably taking a Percocet or a Xanax. And as a parent, I was like, drug, why didn't I see that? Why didn't I see, as they say, a little blue pill, why didn't I see that? Why didn't I kind of correlate him sleeping a lot and all of that with drugs, you know? And I hate to say like drugs because what parent want to say that their kid even was experimenting or even taking or trying, you know? No parent wants to say that about their kid. You took a pill that night before, and his father called me when he came home from work that Tuesday. He called me that evening, and he was like, come by the house. Imsa's here. Donald's not moving, and they're here working on him. So I live like 5 minutes from his father. So I immediately jumped in the car. And when I got to the house, there was 2 officers standing like at the drive up to the porch area. And as I'm trying to run to the porch, his father comes out and he said, he's gone. He said, don't, Rhonda, don't. He's gone. And that's how he was found. His father came home and found him in his bed in what he thought was sleep. He was asleep. So, yeah, that's how he died. He took a pill and he laid down and he slept forever. It is one, the last, was about 3 months ago. The detective told his father that they are looking into trying to make contact with a few people because that night before, Donald went to a party and they're trying to reach some people because they believe he purchased a pill there. And, and like that night, and, just as a parent, you just keep replaying things. And like that night before, I was talking to his father. And so he had me on speakerphone. And that was the last time I got to hear my, hi, mom, and I got to sing, That's My Baby. And his dad was like, he ain't no baby. We all started laughing. And that was the last time that I got to hear that. Because that night, my son took a pill and he laid down and went to sleep. That was it. He didn't wake up. Yeah. That's the worst pain.
So I found out actually on that day. I was in the living room with my mother, and my father had called. And normally I joke around with him when he calls. I normally pick up the phone. I'm like, you're blocked. Like, call somebody else. You're blocked. We don't know you, not stealing. We don't want Girl Scout cookies. And so I picked up the phone and I did that. And it was that immediate negative energy. You guys need to, he's just not moving. And then my mom, she took the phone over and she was already out the door. Something in my heart knew that I needed to stay behind. It almost felt like I wasn't spiritually strong enough to handle whatever was going to happen or what already happened. And I ended up finding out by my father calling me hours later. The first thing that I asked him was, is he gone? Because something in my heart already told me he was, like a energy shift. And I knew, but I just needed that confirmation. And he was like, I don't want to tell you anything. You just need to, if you can come down. I was like, no, I just want to know, is he gone? And he was like, yes, I can't lie, he's gone. And I was like, okay. The first reaction wasn't like I'm falling out on the floor. It was really mostly like how did I know that? I started to feel very terrified. Like, how did I understand that he was no longer here?
I would like for parents to know, um, and I'm just saying this for me. If your kid's telling you, like, Mom, I just smoke weed, yeah, start looking into that. I hate that, it's that saying, it doesn't till it hits home, it hits home, then you realize, something, it doesn't really affect you until it hits home, And with fentanyl hitting home, I didn't realize that there was so many like different names, different street names and stuff for fentanyl. That's why I bought this paper like Apache, Dance Fever, Friend, Goodfellas, Jackpot, Murder 8, Tango and Cat. All of that is like street names, And the takeaway is just that fentanyl, I didn't realize is in everything. It's just little bitty, little bitty amount, like a grain of salt can literally kill you, and they're putting it in, even putting it in the weed. I've read stories where someone, hey, my son smoked weed and they died, because fentanyl was laced in the weed. That is some powerful stuff. I mean, you know, and the takeaway too, and even for parents. And I'm saying this for me, don't feel dumb, don't feel uneducated, I mean, 'cause I'm just saying for me, because that's how I felt. I felt like it's my fault. I felt like, what could I have done better as a parent, to educate him on this, but what I didn't know, I couldn't teach you because I didn't know, you know. So just parents, just don't beat yourself up, you know. Like you said, remember the memories.
It's changed me in a multitude of ways that I don't think I could ever um, do my whole life shift justice in just like a few minutes. However, I will say this. I now look at life in a way different light. Like many people before this has happened, I was just kind of going through the motions of life, expecting to wake up that next day, expecting to see everyone who I love the next day, and definitely moving in a way that didn't show any progress in my mindset and the perspective in which I decided to live my life. And it definitely got me out of the bubble of ignorance because I just believed that everything was going to be the same. Like, why wouldn't it be? After this, I've started looking at life as truly a learning experience. It's something that you can't do the same thing every day and then expect different results, because eventually your regimen is going to be thrown off in a way that you didn't see coming, whether that's good or bad. And you have to understand how to in a way, how to assimilate yourself and with that change. And if you don't, you could find yourself on the outskirts, banging on that window, needing to get inside.
As a mom, I'm tired of memories. I want to hold my son. I want to love on him. I want to hear, "Hey, mom." I want to get onto him. I want to, hey, get up, get your, what are you doing? And you sleeping too late. It's time to get, I want to fuss at my child. I want to laugh with my son. I want to sing with my son. I want to hug him. I want to love on him. I want to see him, for God's sake. It's like I'm burnt out now on the memories. God, bring him on back down. He can come on back down now. I want to see him now. So.